My friends, just think about it. We hear lies from 10 to 200 times a day. Well, we ourselves are lying too, but this is a different story. Do you like when someone lies to you? Of course no. That's why we are happy to tell you about 9 tips from the former FBI agent LaRey Quy, which can help you to read people like a book. These are some really useful tips from a person who was serving in the Special Forces for 20 years. Watch the video and do not ever let someone outsmart you. Hello, that's newsoldier. People often lie about every little things. Sorry, can't do that, I'm too busy. Well, you just want to hang out in the club with your buddies. Honey, your new haircut is wonderful. Oh my, who did this to you? Looks awful as hell. Boss, I'm almost done with that case. Oops, I'm yet to begin. And so on. Stay alert, my friends, but remember that lying is a necessary part of the communication process, and it can be really useful. Even the greatest Russian poet Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin once wrote, "Assume a mask and look at me, and make it clear with one look. I'm happy to get on the hook. It's not that hard as you can see." Well, if you lie to your boss, he would hardly believe the genius poet. He would be just mad at you, wouldn't he? So let me tell you how to recognize the lie and how to behave if you want to cheat on somebody. Basic behavior. Every individual has its own behavior pattern and personal characteristics. For example, someone likes to scratch his head, another one likes to fold his arms, another one likes to clear his throat, and so on. The reasons for that could be different. Maybe it's a habit, maybe it's something emotional, the result of feeling anger or anxiety. To read a person like a book, you should hang around with them to learn their behavior patterns. Find the deviations. Pay attention to the discrepancy between the basic behavior and person's words and gestures. For example, you know that someone gets into a habit to coach when he jitters, so he starts to do so while talking. What does it mean? You can find out more about it by asking him more questions and paying attention to the details. It can be everything: unusual gestures, coaching, little head shaking before answers, leg shaking, or, on the opposite, no movements at all. To create lies, our brain needs time, so a lied person would have a pause before an answer. You can also figure out the lies by the enormous emotional reaction to your question. Like he answers, "How could you possibly think so?" to make you stop asking awkward questions. You should be on alert if you don't get a direct answer. It's strange if someone starts talking about kindness and religion instead of a straight answer. You think all liars avoid eye-to-eye contact? Well, some of them can imitate a true-hearted gaze. And one more thing, if you ask a person who messed up and tries to hide his error to choose a punishment for the mistake, he would come out with far too light sentence. Here is a tip. All these things are not 100% proof of a lie. But if they are unusual to a person, and if there are a few of them, please be on alert. Compare. Okay, you noticed a person's unusual behavior? Make your next step and see if a person would behave in the same way with other people. And when it happens, watch a person communicating with others. Does his facial expression change? How about the pose or gestures? Speaking about gestures, follow the hands. There is a strong connection between our hands and our brain. I bet a lot of your friends like to wave their hands while telling fascinating stories. Some of them like to touch their hair, scratch themselves, or do something like that. Our brain programs our hands to express our thoughts with gestures. If the person connects his hands with fingertips making a prayer's gesture, that could mean he is not confident in his thoughts, sayings, or actions. Hands in fists speak about the stress, and if a person strokes his neck with 1 or 2 fingers, it could be an instinctive method to get rid of stress caused by suspicion. Follow the legs. Legs always tell the truth. For example, you know that kids like to jump when they feel joy. Their feet express their positive emotions. But what about the grown-ups? They definitely would not jump. On second thought, it depends on the level of joy and if anyone watches this grown-up at this moment. If a person crosses his legs and looks relaxed, but after your question his legs go straight, that's a red flag. Seems like this question is uncomfortable for him. If a person waggles his leg, that signals that the conversation is boring for him. If his feet look towards the door, the person wants to end this conversation, searching for exit. Crossed ankles mean that the person tries to keep in line his negative emotions, fear or lack of confidence. But remember, single gestures are not that suspicious as a few of them in complex. If you see leg shaking, coaching, head scratching simultaneously, that could indicate that the person is not free-hearted with you. Maybe he is lying. When someone's behavior is different, you need to find out if it happens only in front of you or not. Just watch how a person behaves with other people, how his body language and face expression change. Tell me about the gestures that once helped you to catch someone on a lie. Share your experience in the comment section below. Mirror principle. Human brain has mirror neurons which are responsible for the outer expressions of our mind. Joy brings smile. Angry mood brings brows bend. This can help us to read people as books because we always reflect the reaction of people we talk with. Our face would be happy when we talk to people who are nice to us. Our face would be heavy when we talk to people who we don't like. Again, don't think that mirror principle can figure everything out when you work undercover. Mimic signals could be delusive, but even basics should help you. When a person covers his mouth with his hand, it shows the lack of confidence in what you are talking about. Raised eyebrows signal about positive emotions or happiness when we see anybody. Bend of the head means comfort, kindness and sensibility. Touches of face, hand crossing or bend over of body, all that in complex may point to some cheating. Look for a strong voice. This is very important for special agents, who are set to find an unstated leader in a group of people. This can be useful in daily routine, for example, to find out key persons among the new staff members. Do not forget that a true leader is not always in the center of the table, but he is always self-confident, has a strong voice, do not confuse it with loud voice, and paddles his own canoe. Watch the step. You can learn a lot about a person watching him walk. A true leader walks confidently and forcefully, but his steps are always light. And someone lacking confidence always walks up and down gait, making gnarly steps, keeping an eye on his feet. Action verbs. You can read people by paying attention on how they describe an action. This can show you their principles of thinking. For example, a person who often uses the verb handle is hardly impulsive and always weighs up his words. Does such a person deserve a like? Sure thing! Click the like button below! Many personal aspects could affect a person's behavior and his manner of speech. A person may be introvert or extrovert, risky or conservative, exhausted after conversation or full of energy, and so on. Every person is a book yet to be read, and we read him when we communicate with him. If you follow our advices, you would learn to read people and gain the information you need from them. But you have to remember two key aspects. You need time to learn to read people correctly. Every rule has its exceptions. But in general, you will definitely improve your skills of overseeing and your ability to understand other people while communicating with them if you follow our tips. Now let's review one more important aspect which we can't lose. Let's see how we can spot someone's hostile intentions and defend ourselves. The attributes of a possible danger are: 1. Someone's intent look. If you see one, it's right to do everything to avoid being one-on-one with that person. 2. a stranger tries to fit into your step. It's unusual when two people walk with the exact same speed. Same with vehicles on the road. In this situation you should change your moving direction or go to some crowded place. 3. Someone tries to distract you. Criminals often pair up. One distracts, asks you or suggests you something, while the second one prepares the criminal act. In this situation you should be very careful. It's better to be prepared for everything than to become a victim. 4. Remember, people do crimes when they have the conditions for it. So the right thing is not to create these conditions. And one last piece of advice for you when you need to lie. How not to spill your guts. Use it when your boss gives you hard times. So, use the Stanislavski method. Fully get into character and truly believe in what you are talking about, as the former MI6 agent Harry Ferguson tells. Create a story and learn it by the numbers, says Dave Thomas, former Secret Service officer and covert surveillance consultant. Watch your gestures. Touching your face could show that you are lying. If it's not an allergic response to your dry soap, I guess the second option would be better for you. At present time, we have a lot of methods and tutorials to analyze human behavior. We have a discipline called manipulative behavior. Top managers and executives have to study all the methods of the underlying ideas recognition. They have to learn how to see their client's potential through body language and unintentional gestures. Today, we have shared some of these things to you, so you could avoid the traps of qualified managers. Take a hit, show what you are made of! If you are happy to learn the skills of special forces, you should definitely watch our video, the tips of the secret services to use by civilians. You can find a link below. That's it for now, stay tuned! Narrated by Maxim Nikulin for New Soldier channel.